Hello and welcome to today's design session.
And welcome to my house.
Yeah, we're at Shara's place. I wonder how many of you have seen it. If you're a part of Shara's channel on YouTube, of course you've seen it. Just so happen, we actually do this a lot. We end up doing kind of the same thing at the same time and we don't realize it's happening.
I know, it is actually true.
Yeah, and guess what we both ended up happening to do at the same time?
Painting our house.
Painting the exterior of our house.
Yeah.
Me, I've lived in my house for 17 years and it's never been painted on the outside, so I was due.
Yeah.
So we thought this would be a really fun design session because we're looking at our homes from an outsider's perspective.
And we really want to update the curb appeal of the home and not only just the painting. So phase one obviously is going to be to paint your house. We're going to talk you guys through the different tips and things that we learned in going through this experience. Phase two is going to be all about us planting, which Mother Dearest, she's gonna help me.
In my house, I just pointed and directed.
Yeah.
But here, I'm here to help as long as dirt is not involved.
Don't worry, there won't be too much dirt involved.
Good.
Yeah.
In planting. Good.
Phase three is called perfect. Basically, it means decorate.
Yeah, it's kind of like the exterior version of accessorizing. And we actually love that part.
That's a fun part.
Yeah. This all started with us getting our houses painted, but of course we don't stop there.
We know that not everyone can paint their house, so don't worry. If you can't paint your actual exterior of your house, you can still do some stuff to update the curb appeal. And number four, what's number four, Mom?
We're gonna have a party!
Which means we gotta get to work because people are gonna be here in about 4 hours.
Okay, it's kind of like a reveal.
Yeah.
It is like a reveal.
It is.
We're doing this on two very different budgets. So this is kind of give you guys that high-low thing. Actually, mine's not high. Is yours high?
Yours is probably higher than mine.
It's higher than hers, but it's still very budget friendly. So you guys are gonna learn a lot. Let's go do this. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Let's go.
So let me share with you my story of my house and how this all took place in the first place. It was a year ago Christmas. After Christmas, I went outside with my son because he had given me a gift. Mom, one of my gifts to you this year is next year I will put up all your Christmas lights for you as a gift. Do you know what that means to me? Like the world. So I said, okay, let's go outside, walk across the street, stand back and look at the house, and let's kind of come up with a design plan of what we want to do for Christmas lights next year, and then I'll buy them. He said, great. Walked across the street. We stood there, and as we were looking at the house, you know what? He looked at me and he said, Mom, have you taken a good look at the outside of your house lately? It's really in bad shape. I stood back and I looked at it for the first time from an outsider's perspective. 17 years of adding a little of this and letting this go to waste and letting this dry out and die had resulted in this. So I went and I took pictures, I printed them, I did them in black and white, and I did what I do. I proceeded to draw on top of the pictures my design plan for the outside of my home. I came up with, we'll add siding to the sides and those pillars, you know, those columns. We could add brick or stone. And then, you know how the curb, I have a corner lot, right? So around the curb, if we could just raise that up, terrace it a bit, and completely redo the landscaping, oh my gosh, it could look great. Well, yeah, it would look great, but I don't have an extra, I don't know, $40,000 to $70,000 to do that. So guess what happened? I pretty much let the idea die for a while. About 6 months later, there came a time when we thought about selling our house. We don't need a house this big anymore. We thought, let's test the market. Well, that got me to thinking curb appeal. I needed to look at my home from the outside in a very critical way. What needed to be replaced? How could I make the biggest bang for my buck? Be happy with my house, not be so embarrassed, because once they walked inside, they're sold. But from the outside, some people might not even want to walk inside. So here's what I had to do. I had to demo stuff. I had to get rid of stuff. I basically needed to cleanse my palate and create a blank slate.
When we first moved here, when we were looking to find a place in San Diego, we stumbled across this place online. We had not seen it when we first decided to move in. We had actually found 5 other places in San Diego that we fell in love with, and we missed out on all of them because we were living in LA. And so when we submitted our applications, we were like 7th on the list. So unfortunately, a lot of the time our applications never even got looked at, and we missed out on a lot of great properties. So with this house, I found it online on Redfin. We still were in LA. I called my brother and I was like, hey, Scotty, I'm like, can you please go and just look at the house for us because we can't get down there until Sunday. This was a Friday. He's like, yeah, I can go, but I can't go at 4 o'clock, I can go at 2 o'clock. Because he was in real estate, they let him go in by himself. He was able to walk the property, take a video, and show me. And I fell in love with the inside. The inside was amazing. The yard was not cute, but it had a yard. Here was the problem. I absolutely hated the way it looked on the outside. You know how in Fixer Upper, Chip and Joanna say they buy the worst house in the best neighborhood? Our house is definitely the worst house in this beautiful, amazing neighborhood. The way your house looks on the outside really, really matters. Kind of your first impression. You want your home to be definitely beautiful and cozy on the inside, but on the outside, it is the first thing that people are gonna see. So for me, being able to paint this house and being able to invest a little bit of money would really transform the outside of this house. Even if you can't paint, I'm gonna show you some things that are really gonna make a big impact for your space. Excited to get this day going. I'm excited to see what happens when we start painting, and when we start planting, and when we start decorating. I don't know, I think I might become like a plant lady or like a garden lady, you know? That's like a thing. It's like the new cat lady is the plant lady, and I think I have it in me, like I'm starting to catch the cold.
I have a process of how I pick out outdoor paint colors, and I'm gonna walk you through that right now. Unless you're completely building a house, there are going to be things you have to work with. Here's what I had that I could not change. My roof, shingled roof. The second thing is, I could not change my windows as much as I'd love to. That was not in the budget. Tip number 2, pick your actual paint colors. Now, I'm guessing this is gonna be the tip and the point you wanna pay the most closest attention to because it's super important. It's a big spend and you wanna get it right the first time. So as you follow me on my journey, you're gonna get to see how I did it. I took a drive around my neighborhood, and here's why. I'm gonna explain to you that your neighborhood is important to keep in mind. Today, I'm actually gonna show you what not to do and what to do. There was a house right around the corner here, and we're almost there. And they have redone it's funny, they've not redone the interior of the house. I'd love to give them my business card. But the exterior, they did such a good job. And this is what I do. I have paint fans. So the tip there is bring your paint fan and don't be afraid to go to the door and meet one of your neighbors or someone in a neighborhood, because most of the time they consider it a compliment that you like what they selected. See? Easy peasy. My neighborhood had these really very tragic fires. I think it was back in 2002 called the Cedar Fires, and 350 houses in my neighborhood actually burned to the ground. A lot of people had to rebuild, and in doing so, it gave people license to do whatever they wanted. And I remember driving up on this street years ago after everyone had rebuilt, and I came across this house and I was like, no! This is a perfect example of do not pick a color or a style that is so far off the beaten path of every single thing else in your neighborhood, because you will stick out. You will be the neighbor that everyone talks about, not in a good way.
Okay, the first thing you guys should do when you're going to paint your house is take pictures of every single angle outside. So get a picture, obviously, of the front, get a picture of the side, get a picture of the back, but also I got photos of our detached garage, and then I also focused on the backyard. For me, taking photos, I put them into Photoshop, and I was able to adjust and manipulate the color based on what I was kind of leaning towards. So I knew I wanted to do white, and I knew I wanted to do black trim. A lot of my confidence in picking a white house with black trim was in looking on Pinterest and seeing other homes that were in this style already done in that color palette to see how it looked. And then also driving through my neighborhood, there's a lot of these old casita type style homes that have the terracotta roof with a white and black or dark green trim. I love this house. It has obviously a different color roof, but I love that they have a really warm white color. I love the modern numbers, and then they also have a really pretty matte black trim. They also have the black mulch, which I really love in the front yard, but this is a street that's a few streets away from us down in our neighborhood, and I think it looks beautiful. So I think this will look really good in our house. The second thing you need to do is obviously pick your paint colors. Now, I did this with Tyler about a week ago, so we filmed some footage of that, so why don't we take a look and see how our journey went. So I think a lot of the time when it comes to picking paint colors, it's really easy to get caught up in the choice. You can doubt yourself, you can become debilitated by the billions of color options there are out there. Even if you know I want it to be white or I want it to be yellow, there's a lot of different variations. So I encourage you guys, when you go to the paint store, don't get caught up with having to pick the one color the first time you go. Buy several. Every paint store can get like a sample bucket of paint. We bought like 4 white and 4 black options.
I kind of like that one, black top.
Mm-hmm.
There's one I
It's not
saw
so
earlier that I
harsh.
liked though. Where did it go? It was like
Midnight or something?
Twilight Zone.
It gives us the flexibility to come home and play around with those colors, and we put them up on the wall. So we didn't just paint a teeny tiny little patch, we painted large patches, and we made sure to put them in the sun and also in the shade. But the key with this step is making sure that you don't forget which paint color is which, because especially with white, they're very similar. You have to make sure that you paint them. If you're gonna do one color, color A on the left, color B on the right. In the shade, make sure you put color A on the left and color B on the right. That'll help you remember what's what.
Right now I'm painting with Simply White, and I don't know, I think I'm leaning towards Chantilly.
Why?
Not really anything to do with the color or look of it, but more to do with the way it sounds. I like the name. And if we're gonna paint the house white, like at least have like kind of a cute name instead of just Simply White. Bum ba dum bum. What color is your house? Simply White. What color is your house? Chantilly.
We didn't just paint the stucco of the house, we also painted some sample bits of the trim. Made sure to put the white patch next to the trim to see what the colors would look like together.
Blacktop. Again, Simply White, blacktop. Chantilly in Twilight Zone. Are you kidding me? That's a house I want to live in.
I feel like a bus is coming soon, by the way.
How to pick a painter? Well, what I did was I went on Craigslist and I just went on the internet and I read people's reviews. Yelp is a great place to find them, but Angie's List, I ended up meeting with 3 different paint contractors and getting quotes. You want to work with someone who's reputable. I know that for my bids, they basically, 3 different companies came within $500 of each other. So I didn't make my decision based on money. I made it based on who did I feel the most connection with, that they got me, that they listened, and that they had a good reputation. I got rid of all of my outdoor lighting because it wasn't where I was gonna go. And then I looked at my My garage door, I had it faux finished to look like a carriage door. It was a metal door, but it looks like wood grain, and it had the custom metal straps. All of that went off and we patched those holes. I just want you to know, back in the day, that was very cool. I used to have flower planters on here. That's embarrassing. We're gonna be upgrading all of our security cameras. I got my eye on you. Then I went around to the backyard. God did not make me tall enough. Yep, side of the house, of course, is gonna be painted. And these are my sheds. So it's kind of a jungle back here. This right here is all the Christmas stuff that used to be in that shed, which used to be against the house, which can't be against the house because they're painting. Here was the biggest thing. You know what I got rid of? The out of the ground jacuzzi. I gave it away for free, but the guy who got it had to spend $1,200 because why? There was no way to get it out of our backyard unless you hired a crane. This is where it starts to get pretty. Walking through my plants and my flowers. My backyard has been redone. You guys have probably, you've seen it in design sessions and definitely on YouTube. And I've had many different color schemes. I've changed it every year. But there was stuff that, you know what, I just needed to get rid of. Like my vintage arched window, which I have loved for years. But it's not the look I want to go with anymore. I also got rid of all my fountains. Okay, I love water features, loved them, let me just say 20 years ago. I even liked them a lot 15 years ago, and 10 years ago I could barely, you know, like I turned them into mostly plant holders instead of water features. So this is now gonna look beautiful with the house being painted.
Okay, so let me turn it on.
One of the things I did that I know was really helpful for my painter, and they told me, you know, no one's ever done this before, is I picked my two paint colors, my trim color and my stucco color, and I wrote on the photos, these walls here are this color, all the eaves are this color, because then they had a visual. There was no way that what I was envisioning would not be communicated and we would be on a different page.
So in the backyard, the trellis is pretty rickety. It's made out of wood, and I'm pretty sure there's some termite damage in there, and I don't even know how old that trellis is. We decided to paint that trellis black. That will kind of hide a lot of the splintered wood or the rotting wood, as opposed to white. If we were to have painted it white, it would definitely kind of show every nook and cranny. It honestly looks brand stinking new. Obviously, they have a lot of trim to still paint, but this was a pretty big project, and I'm excited to see it done. Now, if you guys are like me and you have maybe an AC unit or a hot water heater that's on the outside of the house in a visible area, a great way to hide that, just like an outlet on a wall, is painted the same color as the house. If it's attached to the house, it'll blend in if it's all the same color.
Quiero que regreses de nuevo a mi lado.
So the painters that we hired are actually a family business. It's Eddie's Professional Painting, and not only are they painters, but they are also a musical family.
Creo que ya me has visto platicando a solas
So while they continue to play music, we are getting to building this cute little garden box.
de la luna.
Wow! So good!
Okay, so today's the day color goes on. The first day they power washed. The second day they put all kinds of plastic on all the windows. And, by the way, so here's one of the things that I thought was super interesting. I have these columns that go from bottom of the roof line to the ground, except right here. Why in the world was that different? The previous homeowners actually had the base of it stop and be brick. You got long pants, and then over here at the entrance to your house, you got one pant leg that goes to the floor like it should, and then one that's rolled up with cuffs. So I actually, super weird, super case-by-case situation, but I actually had my painter, after I saw the house done, I said, you know what? Go ahead and paint these bricks the same color as my stucco. From a first impression, you don't get this hyped up thing going on. You get a feeling of this, which is exactly what you want. Here's another really good tip. When you select your paint colors and you sign off on them, remember, do you want that paint to be flat paint or do you want it to be a satin? Now, painters, they're not designers, they're painters. They will often suggest that you use satin paint on, let's say, your gates or like your garage door, for example. Just take a look at your things that you're gonna paint, because I will tell you this, satin paint or anything with any kind of gloss in it whatsoever will show imperfections. So for me, we took those straps off the garage door and we patched the holes. That meant the garage door was a little bit imperfect. So using flat paint was a much better choice for me.
Well, hello. Welcome to my newly painted house. You guys, how good does it look? Like, how good does it look? The house has been painted, but I haven't really finished. For example, we have a hose here still. I still have the original patio furniture that came with the house that we're gonna either save for the homeowner for when we move out, or we're just gonna replace it. But let me show you the backyard because that's where it really gets good. So you guys remember this little gate? I think it looks so good black. And not only that, but look up here. This whole door painted black instead of green. And we painted the inside of here white, the outside black, and I just think it looks so beautiful, but it doesn't feel cold, modern, or contemporary at all. It just feels updated and it feels warm because we're bringing in the plants, we're bringing in the terracotta, and we're kind of tying it in to make it feel really nice and really cozy.
Once your house is painted, what does it need? Same thing the interior does. It needs accessories. It needs color.
It's gonna be me that finds a better way.
Are these annuals or perennials?
Some of them are perennials.
What does perennial mean anyway?
Perennial means it's going to last year after year.
Oh, good. So this is going to be there.
This is a perennial.
And then
these are perennials.
So are you like doing a foundation of the perennials in certain spaces?
Right.
What about us?
Lay out the perennials so I see your foundation.
Got it. All
Okay.
right.
And then you can do the rest.
I am so down with you, and the pain you feel is real. I knew it's never been me and you.
There's some lessons that can be learned, things that I learned along the way, things that Kelly, my gardener, learned that were really super fun. So we started off with this front bed. After I saw it done, my eye went around. Now remember, I have a corner lot. Not everyone will have that, but as my eye went around the corner, I saw that there's also a bed over here with a tree and roses and things like that. And I went, this is so colorful and beautiful. We have to now carry this over there. It's gonna be even more beautiful once the stuff starts filling in. So you know, when you're planting, you can't make it look like you want it to look ultimately, because once they start growing, they're gonna crowd each other out. But if you space them out a certain distance, then with time, they will fill in. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how this is gonna look about a month, 2 months from now.
But it's hard to get out.
And of course, you need to bring that around to your backyard as well.
Do you like the way she moves?
But I can't wait for you to see now the consistency of when someone comes into my house. They're greeted with all these beautiful flowers as they walk up to the front door. But when they go around through the house and they come out to the outside patio area, there's a connection between all of those places with the color, the feel, and the warmth that is now a part of the exterior of my home. So I think this will look really good. Okay, good job.
Thank you.
I'm all wet and sweaty. Me too. Sorry. Okay, you guys, thank you.
So phase one did a lot. Painting really did update the space. I mean, even look at the trellis. It looks like it's new. It used to look really spiky and splintered. Now it looks totally brand new. The black hid a lot of the imperfections. Not only did we really achieve some beautiful coverage, we also achieved some beautiful hiding of some eyesores. That guy used to be silver. Now he kind of blends in. That's the water heater. And I think it kind of just makes him, he just goes away, which is exactly what I wanted. Now, we've achieved a lot within phase 1, but now moving into phase 2, I'm going to plant, I'm going to weed, I'm going to make it pretty, and I'm gonna show you all the steps. My mom's gonna get here soon, I hope, because I need some backup. Before you plant, you gotta pull the weeds. So for me, I had an abundance of weeds, an abundance of dying things. Once you guys clean up all the trash and the weeds, then it's time to plant some fun new plants. So for me, I did not have as big of a budget as my mom had. She also owns her house, so it makes more sense that she'd invest more money. For me, I really wanted to figure out what's the best way that I can get the visual experience of it looking clean and nice. The management company told us, hey, good news, you guys are gonna also get gardeners. The owners are gonna pay for gardeners to come to maintain the backyard, so you don't have to worry about it. I got a new tree. Are you able to plant that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's your opinion on black mulch versus brown mulch? Versus, is there another kind of mulch?
There's red mulch. I personally like the brown.
That's,
Keeps it
okay,
more
good.
natural looking.
That's what I got. So the first thing I did was get a lot of mulch. Mulch is $3 a bag, and you can get a whole bunch of it for not a lot of money. Mulch also helps retain the soil, the moisture in the soil. Are these weeds? Is that what this is?
Yeah,
Oh wow,
it's
look at
just-
that. Put down weed paper and then put the mulch on top, because if you got weeds coming up through mulch, it's not very fun to weed your garden or your backyard with mulch on it. You can get plants that are like filler shrubbery that are like $7 for a pot of it. They'll grow out and they'll expand their arms. I did get one tree because you want to mix around with heights, right? Just like a bookshelf, having all the same height plant is going to be super boring and not visually appealing to the eye. And then I have a garden. I'm gonna have herbs, I'm gonna have vegetables, I'm gonna have citronella so I don't get bug bites. Hi, Mom.
So good.
Thanks for coming over to help.
Oh, you bet. I went to the front door first. The front of
Well,
the house looks amazing.
Here, I've got some good news for you.
Okay, what?
First bit of good news
Someone's
is...
calling.
Oh, Scott's calling.
It's
Should
your
we
brother.
answer?
We should answer. Put him on speaker and don't tell him.
Hi, Scott. You're not on speaker.
No, of course not.
The property management wanted to bring in their gardeners to help us, and your job just got a whole lot lighter.
There is a God.
But we're
and
not
he
done
loves
yet.
me.
Scout, get out of there! Oh my gosh!
Scout, what are you, 2?
Oh, 3, but still. David came over the other day, and he and Elena helped me build this, not help me, they built this amazing garden bed. It was quite the project. So
Really?
we have a lot to thank David for, because there was a lot of heavy lifting, and it was like the hottest day of the year, and it was crazy. David, tell my mom what you're gonna teach us how to do today.
So today we're gonna be covering basic transplanting, starting from seeds. I have a few seeds. We're gonna do some arugula, carrots, radishes, and we got a bunch of kitchen herbs that we're gonna be just transplanting. They're kind of grown up already. So you guys are up for it. I have you guys as your gloves.
Ooh.
Oh, those are
and
nice.
We're ready to go.
Very cute. I have some questions. These are 2 right hands.
So here's the deal, Mom. Look, we've got our pot, our big pot here, and then we've got these that David's gonna put
Oh, I
on
like that. A living wall.
the wall, and that's gonna have some
I
herbs.
love that.
And then if you go over
But wait
there,
a second. How do you get to it?
I was just gonna say, go over there.
Oh, me? Okay. Oh, so I really don't like to put this part of my body toward the camera. Think about it. When these things are
great.
sticking out to here, yeah, and so they're all going to be up super high.
No.
I don't
They're gonna.
want
What if they're
David
down
to go
here?
all the way back there.
David, put it down here.
Well, you would have to walk
Down below. Behind me to see if I can do it. Down, lower,
Oh yeah.
lower, lower. See? Stuck.
So walk here. Water, water, water. Water, water, water.
What if you did pot, 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 like that, so that you don't have to go back there? These make me hot. What if you did a third one like that on both sides?
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
reachable.
You need to be one with the soil.
I'm trying not to eat the bugs as I'm
So
talking.
dip in and become one with the soil. Just dip in and become one with the soil. Ready, go. One with the soil. One with the soil.
One with the soil. I'm doing what you're doing. One with the soil. What are we doing? One with the soil. Honey, we're not that
I need
kind
you to
of-
hold the soil. Put your hand in the soil.
You mean touch the dirt?
Yes.
Say it.
Touch the dirt.
It's hot
Now
dirt.
you're touching poop.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Nothing but poop. Got milk?
That is disgusting.
And now you're gonna, yep, and then squeeze, just usually squeeze the bottom and it, yep, comes out.
And then
like
now do I adjust this or just put it
go
right
ahead,
in?
Yep, try to, exactly.
Welcome home, little guy. So now we're gonna start filling the bed with all of the lovely root vegetables and a couple other herbs. And it's gonna look fabulous. So Mom, grab your shovel.
That looks so pretty.
The seeds, they tell you how far from each other they need to be planted.
Okay.
So whenever,
Dino kale needs to be 12-inch spacing.
Wow. For one tiny seed?
yes, because kale grows, right? Try
Yeah.
to visualize the kale when you buy it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's kind of big, leafy, so
Ah.
it needs room. It also tells you how deep. If you look at it. It tells you
Oh, 1/4 of an inch deep.
right behind those, we should grow something that grows underground. So either radishes or carrots.
What in the world? Honey, is it okay if I get rid of some of this metal stuff?
You
Supposed
can
to be
bury
at
it.
the-
You can bury it all the way here, and the tree would be alive. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Oh, this little chick with swagger is freaking heavy. Oh, oh,
Don't break my pot.
oh.
Good job, Mom.
Thank you.
You can do it. Come on.
She carries a thing that has wheels on it. Ever since you came back and you and I started working together and doing these design sessions, I have done more manual physical labor.
I'm just trying to keep you young.
Yeah, or kill me. Do you remember when we were moving beds last time? And
You
wardrobes?
said to make you wear long sleeves.
Honey, did this just turn into a high chair? Okay, time for phase 3. My favorite, why? Because basically it's decorating. It's decorating outside. Yeah, the flowers are part of it and they're accessorizing, but I see that as more foundational. Let's talk about really adding some great flair and touches to your home. One of my best things, look at my new lighting. You guys, you should see it at night. It's like glass from the side you see through, and the only part that actually gets lit is the frosted edge that goes all the way around. I added new house numbers. So here's my issue. My sconces are kind of located in an area where you might think your numbers would be. So I can either go up there, which I think is too high, I can go down here across, or I can go vertically. So we're gonna lay it out and see what it looks like. here's what you have to do. You got to stand back and take a look. You have a level with you, don't you, Eric?
Absolutely.
Good, level with me on that. The bottom line is, we think this is a little weird. Even when we have all 5 numbers, the fact that this is linear actually caused a conflict. They were like competing with each other. I love my lights, so I don't want to do that. Something as simple as new house numbers can make a big difference. You see how the gutter up here has been painted the same color as the eaves, the trim color, and then as it comes down, it turns into the color of the stucco, meaning this is not a decorative part of my house, it's a necessary evil. While the front of my yard has all brand new flowers, over on this side, of course, we already had a tree. This has more shade, so we kept the same color scheme and used as many of the same exact flowers as we did in the front yard to create cohesion. However, because it's more shaded, we used plants that could take the shade even better. Look at these. These roses are roses that I've had. So in this case, we kept some of the existing landscape or flowers because they were established, and these are all just white, and then all the color around it. I just think it made a huge difference. All right, are you ready to see how the backyard turned out? Take a look at this picture. This is actually what my backyard looked like when we bought the house 17 years ago. This right here was already pre-existing, and it was a planter, so there were flowers in here. We covered it with stone on top, created a place that you could sit, giving you more seating. Coming around this area, this has always been sort of a favorite area of mine. Now, these are the chairs that I wouldn't mind replacing. But what do you do if the chairs are still in good order? They're relatively, in fact, they're very comfortable, but they feel dated. I have this great contemplative fountain here, which I love. It's so quiet, it gives just a little bit of a hint of rushing water. No longer the jacuzzi. Now this used to be turned this way, and it stuck out to here, which kind of impeded when you first came out the door of the dining room into this area. By turning this sideways, which we can now that the jacuzzi's gone, this has defined my space out here. I like my backyard now better than I've ever liked it since we've owned this home.
So in phase 3, the first thing I did was I hung some beautiful lights. We got these market lights. Tyler, we need you.
Tyler, Mr. Tallman, who doesn't need a stepladder for absolutely anything.
I can't take the tree out, so I'm going to enlist my mom to help me. We strung some lights up the tree.
Now that I'm here, I need to I need to reach over to there. We should sweep all of this, sweep the rug, and put it back. Something about this a little healthy, therapeutic. Okay, Shara. 7 days, no sound, but you're all around. So we've moved this down because it was too close to the herb garden now. Look at you guys. It's like it'd be like you would belong together. I'm gonna tuck that into there.
Ta-da! You did it! Good job.
Look at you. This is a guy who knows how to plant not only herbs and seeds and seedlings, but cords.
Okay, you guys, are you ready to see the backyard oasis? How good does it look? So, like I said, obviously we painted the house, but out here we added mulch. That is, I think, the thing that made this place look so drastically different. Yeah, you like it, Scout? We trimmed it back and we cut all the dead stuff out of it. I learned that I needed different heights back here. I had a lot of the same height, and I had these trees over here, one of which is kind of dying, but I actually think it's kind of pretty. And I needed something here. So I got this tree. I think it looks amazing. I got these 3 little purple guys to kind of put in the front. Scout obviously loves it. First of all, I have this nice little citronella plant. This is supposed to keep the mosquitoes away. I put it next to this area because it's supposed to keep the bugs out and it's supposed to keep Scout out. She's not supposed to like citronella. You guys, I'm like obsessed. I can't even believe how beautiful this looks. Some lovely little peppers, sweet peppers. I have jalapenos, peppers that are hot. Have kale and radishes. I put the seeds in, so in a couple of weeks those will start to sprout. Behind there I have my yellow peppers and some rosemary. Look how cute is this fence. But also they're good for indoors and outdoors. Here's why. They have a little bucket back here that's like their watering bucket. So you put the water in this area, it soaks into the soil this way, moistens all the soil, and any water that's still in there will evaporate out this way without causing any drainage to go down the fence. I can make a mojito. I think I can eat it. This is from Article, this table and these chairs, and I think it looks amazing. I have 4 chairs and a bench. You could squish a bunch of kids on here. And then do you guys see this light? And then this cute little seating area, I have a nice little chair that I got from Article. This little basket I can put a throw blanket in. I got this from IKEA. Scout can hang out with me here. And I have my little olive tree all under my little light. I think it's pretty cute, and I am very impressed with what a day's work, some soil, some manure, a little bit of mulch, and a couple plants can do to an outdoor space. And last but not least, phase 4, get your house and your backyard presentable and ready to have a party. For me, I've invited my nephews, I've invited my niece, I've invited my brother and my sister-in-law, invited my mom and some of my work friends. You guys know Dorian and Elena, and you know David now because he's the garden man.
And this one, before you eat it, you can actually look, you grab this, and then you can just, like if it was soap, and then the leaf is gonna be gone, but then smell your hands. Just drop the leaf and smell your hands.
Whoa.
Or are you sick of it all? Why do you stay and nowhere to go? No one could love you like I do. What kind of virus am I to you? Busy of night, I am the view. We make a castle too.
Jared, look at your shirt. Had a
Look at your
comeback. There was some collateral damage, clearly.
Mom, your tree looks so good.
Well, it's, you know what? Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think we could add some more, but for now it's not bad. We do a lot of work, we work hard, we make it beautiful, and then we look back and we go, it could be better.
Yes, well, I think that's kind of the point. It's always a work in progress. Don't get overwhelmed with trying to do everything at once, but a few little things you guys can do can really go a long way. You can paint, you can add some mulch, you can put in a few plants and a couple lights.
And you can accessorize.
Yes.
And then you can have a good old party. We had a really good time, and guess what? Clearly, we're having a good time now with our family, so we are out of here. Goodbye, Cribs MTV. Cheers! Woohoo!
Nice.
Good job.
Good job.
Got you first.
Castle.